welcome to my channel. So finally part 1 of the Melanie Gibb interview just came out today. So I don't know, by the time I get this uploaded, edited and uploaded, I don't know what day it'll be because I recorded a few videos today, so I'm not sure which one I'm going to get around to editing first. So as of right now only the part 1 has been out so far. So I'm going to go over that part. Very interesting. I'm interested to see what you guys thought of Melanie. I thought she was I liked her. I really did. The most honest out of all of the interviews so far, if you ask me. So I'm going to just kind of do a summary of the interview and kind of some of my thoughts as I go through it. So, okay. So Nate from East Idaho News is the one that interviewed Melanie. I'm not sure how many parts it's going to be. I know they just released part 1, so I don't know how long the interview was, but we'll give it a little summary here. Okay, let's get into this. So Melanie says, now remember, this is Melanie Gibb, not Melanie Lori's niece. Most of you guys know because you guys have been waiting for this interview and we've been talking about it. But if some of you guys aren't aware, this is Melanie Gibb. This is one of Lori's friends. Well, they met in 2018, but she was really close to her as far as with this preparing of people and chat and all those beliefs and gatherings and stuff like that. So she has a lot of good information when it comes to like this beliefs and how Chad may have affected Lori and what Chad was telling Lori and just their mindset when all this was going down. So it's a very important person for this case and what we want to know, because this is when this is all building up and then this all happens is right when Melanie was basically spending every day with Lori and spending some time with Chad, and Lori was relaying the information that Chad was telling Lori back to Melanie. So as we go through it, you'll see. So Melanie says, when you realize the people that you're close to and love have been involved in something that has to do with kidnapping and people dying, you start to think, oh my God, are they going to come after me? You start to think about your own safety. Wow, there's a lot in that sentence right there. So she's saying, kidnapping. She used the word kidnapping. So does she believe that Tylee and JJ were kidnapped? Was anybody else kidnapped? Is this like a common thing that they're doing to kids? Like I said, we only have the part 1, so far. And people are dying, so anyway, let's continue here. So she says, you start to think about what really happened. Could this all really be true? She said she had all kinds of fears of what the media would say about her. If they would say it the way she wanted them to say it, like what she was really saying. Because you know, sometimes you do interviews with these big companies, these big news companies, and they chop it up and they kind of put in the parts of the interview that kind of go along with their agenda, what they want to say. And they don't play the whole interview, and then it's not even what you said, it's totally out of context, and they're good at it. They can just take little pieces where it looks like you're saying something totally different. So, and then plus media, also other media outlets, just other media talking about the interview, like she's saying, basically she was afraid because of what media would say and what, if they would portray what she's saying the way that she's really saying it. You know how the media is, and then everybody talking and just how they would portray her. So it's not going to be misinterpreted and chopped up and used to fit some kind of agenda. She just wants it to be what she really says. So Nate is letting her do that. I trust him. Like they're not going to chop it up and make it look, you know, basically make it follow their kind of agenda or whatever they're trying to say. I believe it's going to be a true and accurate depiction of what she said. I trust it. So, because I've been following this case with East Idaho News and Justin Lum from Fox 10, a lot of Facebook groups, Daily Mail, there's a lot of articles and stuff. And then you have the documents, the legal documents with the body cams, the police body cams, and discoveries from other cases. So there's just a bunch of different outlets to follow this case, and I think Nate has done a really good job, and so I trust his reporting. But anyway, so she said she was afraid that maybe the media would do that and what they would say. But anyway, so she decided to finally talk because she decided the truth was more important than what she wanted. And she needed to do it for those who passed on, that justice may be served. She said it's fair to Charles and JJ and Tylee and Tammy that someone is standing up for what happened to them. So that makes me wonder, she's grouping Charles, JJ, Tylee, and Tammy all together. And we know what happened to Charles and Tammy. They're no longer with us. So is she saying Tylee and JJ are no longer with us? Now, I don't believe that she knows for sure, like that she is a part of it. No, I don't think that. And that she knows and they told her no. I don't believe that. But I don't think that's what she's not claiming that, I don't think. I haven't watched all the parts of the interview, but what I'm saying is, by everything that she knows about the situation, does she think that they are no longer with us? Did she group them with them as if to say that they're all no longer with us? Sad, but it makes you think maybe that's what she's assuming and thinking. So she's saying that someone is standing up for what happened to them. Well, what happened to them? I mean, we know what happened to Charles and Tammy. Well, we don't know what happened to Tammy, but we know the end result of what happened to Tammy. Same with Charles. Well, we know Charles got shot, but we don't know, we don't know how that scenario went down. We just know their account of it. But I'm saying, wonder what happened to JJ and Tylee. She says stand up for what happened to them. It's almost like she's insinuating that something did happen to Tylee and JJ. So says why? I mean, I guess that's what she's probably like most of all of us, that taking into consideration all the facts, that it looks like maybe something did happen. If you think about it and look at all the facts, so that's possibly what she's doing. But like I said, she knows way more about them and their capabilities and what they are capable of doing. And if she thinks they're capable of it, that's pretty serious. So Nate says, it's fair to say that you know Chad and Lori better than anybody. You know their beliefs and activities and more about this story better than anyone else but them. And she said, yes, I believe I do. I believe that's a fair statement. She said she met Chad at a conference. I believe it was a Preparing a People conference. So she met him at a conference in northern Utah, and he was speaking about his last days, dreams, and visions. So she wanted to meet him because she thought his dreams were interesting. So she thought he was a nice guy, seemed like a nice guy. She wanted to meet him. So she introduced herself at the conference and met him and said he seemed like a nice guy. And then she said when Lori and Chad met, that's when she got to know him even better. So Nate asks her, well, how did you meet Lori? And she says she was teaching a class at church one evening and Lori was there. I guess Lori was very excited about the things Melanie was teaching. So Lori went up to her in the hallway and introduced herself. And I guess she told Melanie a lot of her personal experiences that she had that were spiritual in nature. So it sounds like she kind of just opened up real quick to Melanie, talking about some of her personal experiences. I mean, for just meeting somebody to share some personal spiritual experiences, it's a pretty quick thing. I mean, so it sounds like that they had chemistry right away, that she felt, oh, she could just sit there and talk to somebody. Because you just meet somebody. Sometimes you meet somebody like that where you just have that connection and you just have that chemistry where you just sit there and you feel comfortable and you just sit there and talk to them about stuff like that right when you meet them. You don't even know them. You feel like you've known them forever. Sounds like that's kind of how it was for them, at least at first. So yeah, she said they just hit it off. So Melanie said their friendship developed. They talked a lot about their spiritual experiences and about the second coming. And they talked about life and being a mom. So Nate asked, well, when was that about when you met her? And it was October of 2018. And when did she say she met Chad? So Melanie met Chad that time at the conference first, but it was just a real, kind of quick introduction and nothing too in-depth when she first met Chad. And then she met Lori after that. After she had met Chad at the conference, and then she ended up meeting Lori at that class that Melanie was teaching, and Lori kind of went up to her in the hallway. And then they hit it off right away. They developed a friendship. Lori and her decided they were going to go to an event in St. George. Chad was selling his books and speaking, and that's when Lori met Chad. So that was 2018. I'm interested to find out if she was really communicating with Chad before that. No, because actually, no, because what she said later on, I don't think she was. At least what Melanie is aware of, it sounds like she wasn't. This was the first time that Lori met Chad. Let me know what you think. I'm going to continue reading what she said, and Melanie makes it seem like, yeah, they didn't know each other before. They weren't talking at all before that. They just met in October 2018. But maybe the confusion is maybe she was reading Chad's books before that. Is that, I did hear that somewhere. Was that, did they say, were we talking about that on the live? Somewhere where they said she was reading his books way before and really into his teachings. I don't know if there's any truth to that. We might find out in this interview because, like I said, there's more parts. But anyway, so Chad was speaking at this event. He was selling his books. Lori met Chad. It was about, Melanie said it was either October or November time, 2018. The event was 2 days. They were there for 2 days. She talked to him a lot. She said her and Lori and Chad talked a lot. And they talked a lot about his books. And she asked Chad a lot of questions. And she was really interested in what Chad thought. She was really interested in asking him all these questions, and he was interested in what she knew. So it sounds like, you know, Glory's all intrigued about Chad, and oh my God, he's this author. He's got these books, and he seems to know some things. And so she was asking him all these questions, and so he was kind of interested in what she knew. I don't know, when Melanie said he was interested in what she knew, if that was just said like a general statement, like he was just interested in, like, you know, what she knew, and or was she meaning that he was interested in what she knew, like as far as about his books and how much information she knew about his teachings? Is that, I don't know how far or how specific, how she meant that statement, Melanie. Sometimes I analyze things way too much. But I don't know if she just meant it like, oh yeah, and he was interested in what, you know, she knew, like just what she knew in general, and some stuff maybe she, you know, she could teach him, and what, you know, just stuff she knew, or if it was like he was trying to figure out what she knew from his beliefs. That's why I don't know if it's an important thing that she's specifically saying, or is just some general statement. But anyway, so she's saying things you would not learn in church. Or maybe like he was interested in what she knew about, yeah, well, basically that's what he just said, the same thing about his teachings, about his beliefs, and the stuff you wouldn't learn about in church. So he was kind of interested in, ooh, what does she know about my books and my teachings and my beliefs? Ooh, what is she kind of hanging on to and believing? What is she going to fall for? How can I manipulate her? What is she going to, like, almost like he's trying to figure out, like, what are some of the things that she's really hanging on to and really kind of clinging to, so I could use those things to manipulate her and draw her in. What things is sticking out in her head, so I could use some of those theories or those beliefs or those specific things to kind of get her in and manipulate her and have that power and just hook her, like get her in with my beliefs and in with, basically, yeah, brainwashed. So, like I said, I don't know if I'm looking way into that statement that Melanie made, but even if she didn't make it, like, regarding how I'm explaining it right now, it's still probably kind of what happened if you think about it. But see how important, like, you could turn that statement into either, oh, just, he was interested in what she knew, into something just so simple, or you could read into it like, ooh, he's interested in what she knew, because he's trying to figure this out, how he could get her hooked and manipulated. But I don't know what she meant by it, but either way, this probably holds some truth. So, but yeah, things you would not learn in church. Tammy never went to the events. That's weird. That is very weird to me. That this is Chad's belief system. This is his books and what probably such an important part of his life. Not only his spiritual experiences, personal experiences, his books, his beliefs. I'm not saying they're right, but I'm saying, isn't that weird that his wife was never went to the events? So did she not support his beliefs? Now, I'm not saying this like downing Tammy at all. Actually, I commend her. I look at her more highly for the fact that she didn't go to these events. Maybe she didn't fall for his beliefs and all this craziness, but she loved him, she married him, she was going to stick by him, but maybe she just kind of didn't view his beliefs and his books as he did. Maybe she kind of just looked at him as kind of just stories. I don't know. I mean, you would think if she really was believing it, like Lori was into his beliefs and all his stuff, that she would be at the events with him. So if she's really into it, like Lori and some other people are, and that is her husband, so it just makes you wonder if she just didn't fall for that crap, and if she just had it makes you wonder what the relationship was as far as that, or if he didn't even share as much of that part with Tammy as he did with Lori. I don't know. It's just when she said that, I just found that very interesting. Like, wow. It just makes me want to know more. So did she never went to the conferences with him? What did she think of his books? Was she a believer of his stuff? Did she believe the zombie stuff? It makes me have so many questions. And then it makes me wonder, what about his kids? Does his kids believe that stuff that Chad was teaching Lori? Or did Chad see Lori as a potential victim, or somebody that would basically worship him, and that he could manipulate, and that she would follow, and she would believe him, and he just picked certain people that he knew that he could manipulate, and that he didn't do that with everybody. He didn't do it with his wife, he didn't do it with his kids. Maybe he acted like it wasn't like as serious of a belief system with them. Maybe they didn't realize, because maybe it wasn't really, he was using that for a manipulation tactic to have some kind of power and to manipulate Lori and maybe some others. I don't know. But when it came to his family and stuff, he didn't, because he knew they weren't going to fall for it. I mean, they knew who he was, and that stuff wasn't true. So, and he knew he could just manipulate Lori. So that's why he did. Because like she was saying, the preparing of people wasn't like a call. It was just he spoke at those conferences. So maybe when he was speaking at him, it wasn't necessarily this crazy beliefs. So maybe in his books, it's not all this zombie and crazy talk. So when he, does his speeches for Tammy and his kids, maybe they have no idea all this crazy beliefs. Maybe they had no idea about it. Maybe he didn't share it with them. He didn't try to manipulate them because he knew that he couldn't manipulate them. They knew who he was. So, well, I don't know if they knew who he was, like, really was, but they knew he wasn't going to be able to fool them. So it just makes you wonder if he wasn't able to share that stuff with his family then, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, so I just found that kind of weird that Tammy never went to the events. Okay, so it says, so after that event, Lori and Melanie went back to Arizona, and then Chad came to Arizona at the next event in November. So that was in October, November. So shortly after that, there was another event, and Chad came. And they all stayed in Lori's house. Chad, Lori, Melanie, and I guess some other friends. And I guess Charles was out of town for work when that went on. So Nate asked Melanie about her relationship with Charles, and she said she went over for a barbecue. He was a nice guy. He talked about his conversion to the church. I guess he was excited about it, and he talked about it in like a positive light. And then she said that him and Lori always seemed to be arguing. It's not like they were screaming at each other, but sometimes they get in that arguing voice, she said. She said she never saw Charles lose his temper. Never seen that. But she said they would always have this, they just always were kind of somewhat arguing pretty often. And he was always trying to do things to help and to please her. But Lori was frustrated with him often. So he's trying to do things to help and please her. Just like, who was saying that? How he was always trying to please her. Who was just saying that in an interview? Hold on a second. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. I almost think that maybe her mom, was it during her mom and her sister's interview, Lori's mom and sister, where they were talking about how Chad was always trying to please her, and he basically, before the whole affair. They're saying it was before the affair that he used to always do things to please her until the affair, which I think it was just till after her affair with Chad and after she started talking crazy about what Chad's beliefs. That's when he stopped because she was being crazy. But anyway, somebody said that. It makes me so sad. I keep thinking, every time I think of Charles, I keep thinking about that body cam, that police body cam with, what do you call it, the cops at his house, and he's trying to tell the cop over and over about Melanie and the kids and not feeling like they are safe with her and that he's worried about her. And they were treating Charles like the criminal. They're treating Charles like he did something wrong. And then they have the nerve to write that report that Charles was acting odd and all he cared about was his money. That is so not true. Because that whole video, did he even mention the $35,000 or $25,000 and then more that she took? He might have mentioned it real quick once. I know then the camera turns off and there was probably more discussed. But how are you going to say that that's all he cared about when that whole beginning part that we saw on the police body cam, it was all about his concern for his kids and how Lori was crazy? Who cares if after he was reporting, I mean, I'm guessing it was after the camera stopped or after the video stopped is when maybe he brought up the money and made the report on the money she took out because they said it in the report that that's all he talked about. So let's say he brought it up after when that video ended and then he brought it up. Who cares? I mean, it doesn't mean that that's all he cared about because we saw the first whole part of the body cam or that whole beginning when he did care about her and the kids. So I don't care if after he brought up the money, he still that whole other time was talking about the kids and worried about Lori. That was all at the beginning when he was talking to the police. So I don't understand why the police put that in his report. Like I said, even after, if that's what he did after the video was shut off and he started talking about the money, I would too. I mean, come on. She stole the money or she took the money. So yeah, you got to put that in the report too. It kind of shows her mentality and it shows basically her craziness, making these crazy impulsive decisions and not thinking clear. It goes along with everything. So even if he did bring it up after and he talked about it a lot, who cares? He talked about the kids and Lori losing her mind a lot and all the crazy stuff she was saying. So I don't know where the police got that part, that's all he talked about. It's bullcrap. We saw him talk about everything else but that. So anyway, rambled on again, but it just keeps making me think about him. I just want to give him a big hug. He's so sweet and sad, and you could tell he loves Lori so much. Loved Lori so much, and he just wanted her to get help. He was worried about her. He was worried about the kids. And so anyway, Melanie's saying Charles is a nice guy. They would always be kind of arguing. Melanie was always frustrated with him, and he just wanted to help and please her. How sweet, like, so they're always like bickering and maybe there's some tension and arguing a little bit, and she said they weren't like screaming. It almost sounded like she was saying like Lori raised her voice a little bit more than Charles did, but he was always trying to help and please her. Like, it just sounds like it was just the sweetest guy, or she was just being so hard, and he was just always trying to help and please her. And I'm pretty sure it was his mom and sister that said that too. So yeah, it says Melanie never seen Charles lose his temper, but did see Lori argue with him. So doesn't it sound like she was trying to watch how she said it, but it was almost like she was saying like she never seen Charles lose his temper, but she's seen Lori argue, like Lori kind of getting loud with him. So anyway, Melanie says during the conference and the time at the house, they talked a lot. So her and Lori and Chad talked a lot, and they went on a jog together in the morning. And Chad told Lori when they first met, that first time they met at the conference, he told Lori that they had been married multiple times in other lives. Multiple probations, basically, is what they call the past lives of the multiple probations. So they've been married multiple times, he tells her. So he was basically working on Lori right when he met her. But Melanie said, so there wasn't any group. It was just Chad talking to these people individually. And Lori would share with other people what Chad was telling her. So Chad would tell her like the beliefs and share his beliefs and stuff. And then Lori would go and tell other people this. And Chad was telling other people individually. Melanie said, she said it wasn't like a cult, a group necessarily, but the few people that, I don't know if it was few, but and the way Melanie kind of worded it, it didn't sound like there was like a ton of people. So the few people were the people that Chad was sharing his beliefs with. They were all sharing individually. Melanie said it was definitely different and a new concept, a new idea. She never 100% believed it, she said. She just listened, and so she always had her doubts, basically. So after the conference ends, Chad goes back home, but I guess Lori and Chad started talking every single day on the phone. So every day they talked on the phone, because Lori told Melanie, so that's how Melanie knew. So Melanie told Lori, well, why don't you get a divorce? I don't know if she told Chad that. It sounds like she was, the way she said it in this interview, like she told them both, like, why don't you guys get a divorce? So I'm not sure how she approached them, but anyway, so when she told them that they should get a divorce, because she could, see that they're in love, and while they're falling for each other, they're talking every day, so just, why don't you just get a divorce? And I guess they said they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to get a divorce. This is by Chad's beliefs. Chad's little religion or beliefs that he has going on. I guess they're not allowed to get a divorce. But yet they could kill people and kidnap people if, they're zombies or whatever. They could kill people, but they can't get a divorce. That's some messed up beliefs if you ask me. So Melanie said she didn't see them forming any groups or see Chad forming any groups. Like she said, it was just like he would talk to people individually, but there was no groups or cults that she saw. And she said preparing people is not a cult. They had no idea about Chad's beliefs. But I'm confused because if Chad was at those conferences speaking about his books, his dreams, his visions, and that kind of stuff, where isn't the beliefs kind of come from the books and the visions? Well, basically his books and his experiences. Isn't that where he's pulling his beliefs from? I thought it all was in his books. So if he's speaking about his books, then how doesn't the preparing of people have any idea about his beliefs? Or are these beliefs something different than what's in his books? I have so many questions. I should write them down. So if I can ever get her to interview with me, which I probably won't be able to, but I could have some questions so I don't forget. But anyway, I guess I could just go back and watch this video, right? So if he's speaking about his books at these conferences and these preparing people have no idea about his beliefs, then I guess either they're like hidden in his books somehow or they're not. I don't know. What are the books about? I'm tempted to read one of them just to see. So Melanie said she kind of got sucked into it because she spent a lot of time with Lori. About every day. For a few months she was spending every day with Lori. So I guess the first time that Lori left Charles is the same time about when Melanie was spending every day with Lori. So then Nate asked Melanie how she met Alex, Zulema, and then the other Melanie, Lori's niece. And she said that she met Alex and Melanie at Lori's house. She said Alex was fun, he was a comedian, sometimes spiritual, sometimes non-spiritual, not yet into the spiritual. And I guess she met Zulema at church. Melanie said that Chad and Lori believed they were the head of the 144,000 picked to lead the people during the second coming of Jesus Christ. So Melanie said that they used to go to church every Sunday, but Lori stopped because Charles was chasing her with the papers for her to sign for a divorce. So Lori kept running and hiding from him. But why didn't she want a divorce from Charles? Because obviously she didn't love him. She was in love with Chad. She supposedly thought he was possessed by a demon, possessed by Nick Schneider. So She obviously didn't want to be married to him because she loved him and wanted to be with him. So why? Think about it. My theory is because of that life insurance policy. She thought she was going to be the beneficiary. So she just had to stay married to him long enough to get the job done and get that money. Because why else would she care? Just sign the papers. She didn't want to be married to him anymore. Sign him. I mean, why? You don't love him. You think he's some demon, or he's not even Charles in his body, you said. And there's no way to bring the person back, right? If in your beliefs with the soul being in limbo or whatever, I think the only way to free the soul or whatever is for them to die, right? So obviously you didn't want to be with somebody that wasn't Charles and was a zombie and was bad. Plus, you didn't even love Charles anymore, obviously, because you were in love with Chad, right? Or you were wanting to be with Chad. So why not just sign the divorce papers? Because you wanted that life insurance policy, and you just had to hang in there until Alex could do the job, and you thought you were going to be the beneficiary. So you just had to hold off on signing a divorce paper and talk Charles into pretending, oh, we're going to work it out. And so you could get that life insurance money. And so you have Alex do this act of God, like, oh, this is what God wants you to do. This Charles is some zombie, and he's taken over by a demon. He's just gonna do evil things in the world. So you're working for God. This is a good thing you're doing, Alex. You think you're gonna get all that freaking money? You selfish. Oh, it makes me so mad. I just wonder whose idea was that. Was it both you and Chad's, or was that part all your idea? I mean, Chad is evil on a level for sure, manipulating with these beliefs. So he says about I don't know, maybe it's both you. Like he said, oh, he's a zombie because you wanted to get rid of Charles. Maybe Chad wanted to get rid of Charles because that's Lori's husband. And Chad wants Lori all to himself. So maybe his was because he wants to have Lori, and then Lori said, okay, so we could both benefit. Yeah, that life insurance policy. So Lori goes along with it because she wants the money. Chad wants Lori. But then it makes me think, well, maybe no, maybe Chad wants the money too, because look what Tammy, unless if Lori, maybe it's the same thing with Tammy. Maybe Lori talked Chad, well, Chad wanted to get rid of Tammy because so he could be with Lori, and then the whole life insurance thing kind of was Lori's idea because it's like, hey, might as well, so we'll have money, and Chad just went along with it. I would like to know when Chad opened that life insurance policy, when he got that on Tammy. That would be very telling, because if he got it after he met Lori or before he met Lori, that's what I want to know, because then that'll kind of tell you if he, first of all, if he planned this for the money, if his motive was money too, plus, you know, he could be with Lori, and or makes you wonder was his plan. So, and then if he was planning on that for money, and then did he tell Lori, oh, let's get that on Charles too, because we have to, he's possessed, we got to take care of him anyway, but might as well get some money out of it. Well, wait, when did Charles get his? I don't know, I'm just curious if they both had that idea as far as the life insurance and agreed to, okay, get rid of their spouse and get that money. I feel like I know Lori's for sure. That was her purpose. That's why she wanted that. I just want to know, like, whose idea was it for Tammy? When did they, I wish I knew, when did Chad get that policy out on Tammy? And when did Lori get it out on Charles? So they both just were evil like that, and had it going on and just the same type of people, just that evil, greedy person, or if the life insurance part was one of their ideas more than the other. You see what I'm saying? That's why I want to know when, if Chad got that after he met Lori, that'd be so telling. Does anybody know how to figure that out, find that out when they got these policies out on their spouses? I feel like that would help. That would answer a lot of questions, kind of, if you think about it. Maybe whose idea was it? Both of their ideas that Lori kind of influenced Chad on that part of it. I think Chad had a huge influence on some other parts, and who he, like the kids that happened to die. Maybe, I don't know, but if he called them zombies, then, I mean, would Lori have done that otherwise if she didn't meet Chad? You think she would have done something to her kids? It makes you wonder, because she wouldn't have thought they were zombies then, right? Just makes you wonder, why wouldn't she just sign the paper? Well, we know why. We know she wanted that money. She wanted the freaking life insurance money. Oh, that just makes me so mad. And then, I don't know, I guess maybe Nate will fill us in why he mentioned 60 burner phones. He asked Melanie about if she knew anything about burner phones and why Lori and Chad were using them, but he mentioned 60. I don't know where he got that number. Maybe we'll find out if he's going to share that. 60 burner phones, that's a lot. But anyway, so he asked Melanie about burner phones and if Lori had them, and then Melanie said Lori had 3 phones. One special one for her and Chad, and Chad had one special one for her and Chad too. What were the other 2 for? 3, oh, that's just not good. Those are long gone in the wind, so they could have planned so much stuff on those. They're gone. I don't think they'll ever be able to trace them. But if Nate's onto something, wherever he heard 60, maybe it was because Alex had one, and Zulema, or whoever else was in on this plan. Melanie maybe had one. If there possibly was other people in on it doing stuff, maybe they all had burner phones. Or maybe Chad and Lori just went through a lot of them because they would hurry up and throw them away and then get a new one, so less likely to get the information and catch on to the phones as far as the investigators. When Nathan asked Melanie why she thought that they had to be so secretive, so why they had to have this burner phone just for their conversation. So Melanie says she thinks maybe because their beliefs were inconsistent with the doctrine, so they had to be kind of secretive because they're talking about his beliefs. They don't want anybody to find out because they could be excommunicated from the church if that's the case, because they don't go along with the teachings of their church. So Melanie's not going to church anymore.
Whoa, I am tired. Not Melanie. I meant to say Lori is not going to church anymore.
But she does still go to the temple, I guess. Melanie said that was Lori's favorite place to go, the temple. So I guess Melanie Gibb didn't voice much opposition to Lori and Chad. So Nate asks her, was there ever a time she thought this is too much? And Melanie said, oh yeah, like the zombie stuff she thought was a little much. She said they made her feel special though, that she was one of the elect and that she needs to be with them in the 144,000. At first Melanie says she was like, who, me? And she said that she just felt like, oh, that's kind of unusual because I didn't get that personally from God. I mean, God didn't inform me that I was one of the elect and one of the special ones to be a part of this 144,000. And I guess Lori kept telling Melanie, no, really, you are. You really are. You have to believe this. You are one of the elect. You are one of the chosen ones. So this is what Lori's telling Melanie. And then Lori claims she knew her in a previous life. Well, no, actually she knew her in previous lives. So Lori's telling Melanie this, like, oh, I knew you in previous lives. So I wonder if this is because Chad is telling Lori this, like, oh, you guys knew each other in previous lives. Or if now Lori believes that she has some kind of power, visions, beliefs, or whatever, where she could be sensed, like, oh, I knew her in past lives. So they made Melanie feel like she was chosen and special. And Melanie believed it to some level, but not 100%. So the paperwork about apostles. There's 4 pages created by Chad. The lives and what lives they lived. So the apostles' lives and all the different lives that they lived. There's levels, there's lives all written out by Chad, the apostles, the levels, all these different lives, multiple probations, I guess they call it. So Chad's writing this like he knows something, you know, he's got some kind of power here. So Charles was aware of these documents, Melanie said, because Chad sent them out to a lot of people. So Charles knew about this. This is probably some of the crazy things, like, oh, this is kind of weird, Chad's probably thinking, but shoot, I hope I didn't mix up Charles and Chad's name. Sometimes I feel like I mix them up here.
Yep, you sure did. Good one, Zab Girl.
Unbelievable. Way to go. Good one. Can't even keep the name straight.
So what I was saying is I wonder if Charles was aware of Lori and Chad. Like, how soon was he aware that there was something going on between him and her and Chad, I should say. Was Chad trying to bring Charles into the beliefs? Do you think he ever approached Charles with some of the stuff? For Melanie, or not Melanie, or Lori ever did, or no? I don't know, it just makes you wonder, did she ever try to teach Charles some of Chad's beliefs? Like, she was teaching Melanie, like she was relaying Chad's beliefs to Melanie. Now, do you think Lori ever did that to Charles, or no? Because, no, probably not, because I wonder if right away, how soon, all that, was that email in October? I'm trying to think, how soon was it that... Okay, so yeah, I just fell asleep for a minute. It's late and this is my last video on recording, and I've been recording for a few hours now. I made a few different videos, but I just fell asleep for a minute. Oh my gosh. Okay, so hopefully I'll pick up in the right spot. So it says, where are we? Okay. So yeah, the last thing I was talking about is Charles was aware of these documents because Chad sent them out to a lot of people. Chad and Lori sealed themselves together in the temple. People will get married and seal themselves to each other to be together in future lives. Relationship continues after this life ends. So Chad and her sealed themselves in the temple, and so yeah, Lori told Melanie that Lori and Chad sealed themselves together. So this is when they were still married, but Lori said it's okay because they had been married so many times before that their spouses would understand someday. Are you kidding me? You really can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's just, gosh, crazy. So Nathan says to Melanie that Lori, I guess, claimed that she had been on 21 planets and Chad had been on 31 planets. And Melanie corrects Nate and says not planets but lives. So basically Melanie said it's more that that Lori had 21 past lives and Chad had 31 past lives, or multiple probations, or whatever you want to call them. And then Lori also told Melanie that Chad was a Holy Ghost and had 5 lives on this earth, and Lori had 5 lives on this earth. So I don't know, the other lives were on other earths. So then yeah, it would be that they were on other planets, because if they only had 5 lives on that, okay, so, but it wouldn't be that they're on 21 planets, but they do, okay, I see, because they could have more than one life on each planet, because they had 5 on the Earth, so the 21 planets, it was 21 lives, but they could be on different planets, but it doesn't mean, so Melanie's saying basically it doesn't mean it was 21 different planets, but they supposedly had 21 multiple probations, other lives, on different planets. So 5 of those lives were on Earth. Supposedly, that's what Chad is telling Lori, this stuff. So this is the best, guys. This is the best. So Chad made a portal in Lori's closet, right? So she can visit him whenever she wants. He created a spot that Melanie said, she doesn't know exactly how he created it, but she says he probably just said a prayer or something. But it was I guess, a way for them to interact spiritually. So when Lori wanted to basically talk to Chad and have a spiritual experience with Chad, she goes into this portal, this spot in the closet that Chad somehow made it a portal by either saying a prayer or with his power, some kind of magic power. So she goes in that spot and she could basically interact with Chad spiritually. Oh, shoot. These people, oh my god. And then remember Melanie and Ian's document, well, the Ian Pawlowski, the other Melanie's husband, in the documents he wrote to the FBI, and he said about the how do they call it? Porting, which is teleporting, which Melanie was claiming that she could port. I guess they call it port, but they could teleport. So it kind of reminds me of that. So I don't know if this portal is kind of the same as teleport, because I know usually teleport is you teleport, at least when they talk about it like in movies and they just talk about it as a thing, it's like you teleport your whole body, your physical body too, with wherever you go, right? So, but I don't know, when Melanie was talking about it, was she, yeah, she did, well, she said you teleport, but was she talking about a spiritual teleport too? Is that what they're talking about when they say teleport? Is it just like a spiritual thing, or is this two different things? That's what I'm not sure. The other Melanie Pawlowski I'm talking about, when she told Ian, was she talking about actually teleporting physically, something different? Or was she talking about this portal thing? I don't know. It makes you wonder if there's two different things, if they believe they could teleport physically and the spiritually, or if their teleporting is just spiritually. But anyway, so Chad said his little prayer and woohoo. I don't know. I hate to laugh, but it is so ridiculous and it makes me laugh. Because only God has that power. I'm sorry. Chad, you're not going to sit there and be able to, with your chin. No, that's so mean. I have no room to talk. But, I mean, if you can't freaking make fun of the guy, I mean, he just, I feel like I would never make fun of somebody like that normally, but I feel like he's such a bad person and done some bad things, and I feel like he's the main person. Well, Lori, they're both to blame, but he's a big part in whatever happened to JJ and Tylee. So I believe that it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Chad. I'm not saying that Lori isn't as guilty, but I don't believe that this would happen, at least not as it did and at that moment, if it wasn't for Chad. Now who knows, I could be wrong, but I feel like his teaching and zombies and craziness made this happen. And then poor Tammy, it's just, I don't feel bad. I feel like that gives me the okay to make fun of Chad for his stupid chins, not hurting him. I mean, I think he could take that. It's just so ridiculous. I don't, I'm just picturing Chad with this little wand. I'm picturing with a little wand, and he's like, saying a little prayer. Like, I'm picturing it being in a closet, right? Did she even say closet? I don't know if she said that, but in my head, that's what I was picturing, a little closet. Oh, and she did say, that's probably why I'm picturing a closet, because she did say closet in Lori's closet. Okay, so he does this little crazy singing, chanting, and then this little wand, and then this like shield, like this invisible little barrier. You can see, like, from what movie is that from? I don't even know if I could picture. Like it's like clear, but you could see like the field, like the force field or the energy, like like a portal, and then just right there, and then she could just go. She'd go in there and talk to Chad whenever she wants. Maybe that's what she's doing with Tylee and JJ. They're teleporting or portal or whatever freaking, hopefully they are somewhere safe, and she thinks that she's somehow talking to them and communicating with them. So hey, that'd be a good scenario. So maybe they are safe, just being kept somewhere, and she thinks that she is spending time with them because she's going in her closet. And unless if that one's only for Chad, maybe she made a new one for Tylee and JJ, and then she's going in there thinking that she's somehow having some experiences with them. And no, I don't even think she freaking even would care about them. She's just so only about Chad, I feel like. I don't know. That'd be so awesome if they are okay somewhere, but anyway, I got sidetracked here. Let me finish this up. Where did I go? Interact spiritually. Yeah, so she could visit Chad, and they could interact spiritually together. So a way they could do that, because they're physically not together. They have their own spouses. They have their own lives, supposedly. You know, he's got Tammy and she's got Charles, which, I mean, she's not really with Charles. So anyway, yeah, they could be at their own house, miles away, states away, whatever, and still hang out in the closet. Oh, that's sweet. Wonder where his portal is. In his closet too? So they both go in their closet, and I'm just picturing them in their pajamas, and they're just sitting in their closet, like states away. But he's in Idaho, she's in Arizona at the time, and they're just... I don't know, I'm sorry. I think it's just late and I'm a little tired. Okay, so let me just finish this up. So Melanie said she thought, well, maybe these people know some stuff I don't. She doesn't know, because she said it was all new to her, so maybe they just know certain things that she just doesn't know. So basically she's saying she was very open-minded, very open to it, but of course didn't fall for it like 100%. She had her doubts because there was some crazy stuff, especially the zombie stuff, she said. So she seems like she's a really open-minded person. At least she says, the way she describes herself is just like a really open-minded person. So she was kind of taking it in and just really listening to everything. Like I said, having her doubts, not 100% committed, but really giving everything like, oh, maybe, like it's a possibility. Because she's thinking maybe they know stuff that I don't know. So Melanie said she had doubt, but she said if you were to ask Lori what Melanie thought, like, oh, did Melanie believe this stuff? Did she have doubt? Did she believe it? She said Lori would probably say, no, Melanie believed it. So yeah, but Melanie said she did have doubt, but she said so did Lori. Because Melanie said that Lori told Melanie that if Chad is Satan, he sure is a good one. So Melanie said she probably did doubt him a little, because for Lori to say that, she had to have doubted him a little bit. She said that Alex and Zulema didn't get together until the very end. So Melanie said they were just kind of developing a friendship, which I don't think they were marrying, because I think they got married for another reason. I don't know what it is, but I don't think that they were in love and it was like a marriage for why other people get married. I think maybe they were friends, like she said, developing a friendship. I mean, why wouldn't Melanie say, oh, they were romantic, they were in love? Because they were. Because Melanie, I'm sure, didn't feel like they were at all. That's why she said a friendship. So anyway, Melanie Gibb said that Melanie Pawlowski was really fun. And Melanie really loved her. Melanie Gibb really loved Melanie Pawlowski. She said they had a special relationship and she really loved her. And she said Melanie Pawlowski was really worried about her family, like her kids and everything. So, I don't know. It sounds like Melanie Gibb really likes Melanie Pawlowski. I don't know. I just felt like she was dishonest. It didn't sound like she was... I didn't believe anything she said. It just sounded like she was just saying what she needed to say on those interviews. She wasn't being honest. Maybe Melanie was scared. I'm talking about Melanie Pawlowski. I mean, maybe the reason why her interviews just didn't seem sincere and something she was lying. It seemed like she was just saying what she needed to say. I think there could be a couple reasons. Maybe because she's afraid of Lori and Chad and what they would do. Because look, there's people that are losing their lives and she's just afraid. Or maybe she just feels like this what do you call it? Like she doesn't want to turn her back on Lori because that was her aunt and Lori helped her. Maybe Lori helped her a lot in her life and took care of her. Because Melanie Pawlowski didn't really have a mother. I mean, she had a mother, but it was taken away from her when she was young, so didn't really get to know her mother. She sounds like that she didn't really trust her dad, even though I'm not saying that's right, but if you watch the interview, it sounds like she doesn't really have a good relationship with her dad. Let's just say it like that, because obviously there's more to, I mean, there's a story of why, but so it's like, I feel like maybe she feels like she owes Lori, like she owes her at least enough where she's not gonna turn her back on her, she's gonna lie for her. Maybe it's just that, or maybe she is involved. But I just keep going back to those documents that Ian said about Melanie and what Melanie was saying, and then Melanie flat out lied on the interview. But maybe she was trying to protect herself, because the more involved she claims to be, then the more questions that the law enforcement will ask her. Maybe she's afraid, because maybe she does know some stuff that she held back, and she's afraid because she lied and she held them back, that might make her an accomplice, that might get her in trouble. Who knows? There might be many reasons why she was lying, rather than it being because she knows something about the kids, or that because she did something bad. I think she definitely knows more than what she was leading on to, but maybe she doesn't know as much as we think. Maybe she didn't really never do anything bad, but I still think there was like I think all those things are true. I mean, I think she does know more than she let on. I'm talking about Melanie Pawlowski. She does know more than she let on. She did lie about a lot of stuff. Does that make her a horrible person? I don't know. I mean, it depends what line she crossed. Maybe she's trying to change and she's not going to do it again. She's trying to be a better person, but she can't admit this stuff because legally she could maybe get into some trouble, and maybe because of the fact that she lied. And we see false reporting can get you in jail for a while. Look at Megan Boswell. So for kind of misleading the law enforcement. So now if they find out that Melanie was lying or didn't tell them everything she knew, maybe she could get in trouble. So it's just, like I said, I don't know where she stands. All I know is she wasn't honest during the interview. You can tell that. We've caught her in lies. I'm talking, not Melanie Gibb. I'm sorry I'm getting off track, but Melanie Pawlowski. We've caught her in lies. There's something off about her. She knows more than what she's leading on. But does that make her like a kidnapper, or does that make her involved in this stuff, that she did something really bad? Maybe not. Maybe she's just trying to protect herself, protecting her family. Maybe she really is changing and she realizes that this was crazy to believe that stuff, but she doesn't want to admit that she did because she's afraid, but she realizes this crazy, so she's changing and not believing that. And then maybe that's why Ian's like, okay, I could still be with you, I forgive you, we can still do this because you are changing. Or maybe she isn't, maybe she's just crazy. Maybe Ian knows it, he believes this stuff now, or maybe he believes her, she's lying to him, and I don't know. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because Melanie Gibb is saying that she loves her. She's not saying one bad word about her. She really likes her. She was really worried about her family. Just makes you wonder what type of person Melanie Pawlowski is. Was she just trying to stick up for Lori? Is she a bad person? I don't know. Just if you think about some of the stuff she told Ian, and Ian said about demons and the dreams that she had, and this is just... it's making my head hurt, really. I'm getting a headache thinking about all this. Wow, you can just go off on one of these people for like hours about everything they said or did, or there's just so much. I'm looking forward to part 2. I thought it was really informative, and we learned more on this first part about Chad and Lori and their beliefs in that time period when this all was going on than we learned from all of the interviews so far put together. So I'm anxious to see the rest of them, and I think, I don't know, Melanie seems like I said, an honest person. She seems like she's being honest. I believe what she's saying. Like, I don't believe that she's lying. Doesn't seem like she's lying at all. It seems like she's trying to be as honest as possible, which is good. Finally, somebody being honest in this case. So yeah, I think she's has more information than anyone yet so far. So let me know what you guys thought of the first part, and thanks for watching. You guys rock. You guys are awesome. Seriously, thank you so much. I feel like you teach me something new every day. I learn from you guys constantly, whether it be in comments, emails, talking to you, or on lives or whatever. You guys are just so important to me, seriously, and I really appreciate all the support. Like I said, I got my members, people are joining, which is amazing. Patreon, amazing. You guys watching my videos, amazing. Comments, just thank you so much, seriously. Have a good day, everybody. Hopefully you guys are all doing good and well, and our world is starting up again, huh? Hopefully. Let me know also in the comments if you guys are all getting back to work now. Have you guys started? I know restaurants are open. Well, this is in Ohio. I know each state is different. So let me know also in the comments what state you're from and if you guys have started opening things up again. I know in Ohio that we opened like a few weeks ago. We opened restaurants and bars, and I don't know. I can't see them being that busy considering at first I think people are going to be a little bit scared. And then if a lot of people wear a mask, how are you going to eat dinner wearing a mask? But you know what they're doing in some of our restaurants, in at least my town? They have like these curtains where they're putting, not curtains, but what is it, like yeah, I guess we'll call them curtains, or just like these dividers, but just like, no, more like curtains I would call them. And they're putting them around the table, so each table is like secluded, or like it has a barrier of like curtains, like a, does that make sense? I don't know how they're getting them to stay. And you know what else? I don't know if this was on my local news or if this was, I think it was a local news. Oh my God, I was cracking up. So this bar, I don't know what bar, if it wasn't in Canton, I'm not sure, but maybe it's in more than one town. Maybe it's in, maybe this is what they're doing at the bars. But I'm pretty sure it was a local station. They had these big like tire things where at the bar you like, I don't even know how it works. I didn't even get to release. Oh, yeah, that's what it is. It rolls. So you go in the middle of it, and it has this big, like, inner tube thing, and you go in the middle, has a little spot for your drink, and you kind of roll it so you can't get more than, like, however wide the tubing and stuff is. I think it looks like it's probably at least 3 or 4 feet. So it's like you can't get more than 3 or 4 feet close to anybody because you got that barrier all around you, and people are rolling down the little sidewalk and bumping into people. It's hilarious. How fun, like bumper, well, what would you call that? Because it's at a bar. Can you imagine drunk people all getting drunk and they're having little bumper car things or whatever you call it, bumping into each other? That could be kind of fun. I could see some games coming out of it, or people making up games with it. I don't even drink because, I don't know, I just don't even drink, but that's making me want to go, because just to experience that with the inner tube thing and just to roll it around and just, it's funny. It's almost like you almost have to laugh when you see it. It is funny. Let me know if that's going on in your guys' town too, at your bars with the inner tube. It's like this tubing. But anyway, I got off track. I just wanted to share that funny story. Okay, I'm going to end this now. You guys all have a good day. Bye.